What happens when five brothers, raised in a cramped house in Gary, Indiana, go on to build one of the greatest dynasties music has ever known? The answer is the Jackson 5, and they were never just a band. They were a cultural earthquake. Their Motown era didn't just produce hits, it wrote the blueprint that every boy band since has tried to follow. Soul, R&B, pop, and pure showmanship fused into something electric and eternal. Formed in 1964, the Jackson 5 began as Jackie, Tito, Jermaine, Marlon, and Michael, with Randy joining later, all of it under the iron-fisted, relentless guidance of their father, Joe Jackson. Whatever it cost them, it worked. They became Motown's crown jewels, giving the world I Want You Back, ABC, Never Can Say Goodbye, and I'll Be There. The group officially disbanded in the late 80s. But their legacy never did. It lives on in the music, in the family tributes, in every corner of pop culture they touched. Before we honor the Jackson brothers we've lost and celebrate the ones still carrying the torch, hit that like button for more legendary music stories, and tell us in the comments, which Jackson 5 song brings back your best memories? Let's start with the brothers still here, still keeping this family's story alive. Jackie Jackson, born May 1951, is the eldest, and he still carries himself with the same quiet grace that's defined him for 6 decades. His smooth tenor was the backbone of hits like I Want You Back and Can You Feel It? Today, he's still in the studio, still showing up for his fans, still lending his voice and presence to tribute concerts that keep his brother's memory alive. Jermaine Jackson, born December 1954, built one of the most celebrated solo careers of any of the brothers, with hits like Let's Get Serious. He's become something like the family's ambassador, representing the Jacksons at events around the world, still performing, still standing guard over his brother's legacy as its most devoted keeper. Marlon Jackson, born March 1957, was the dancer, the one whose energy and footwork helped define the group's electrifying stage presence. These days, his focus has shifted to philanthropy, though he still steps back into the spotlight for family projects and to speak about what the Jackson 5 meant to pop culture. Randy Jackson, born October 1961, joined the group in its later years and grew into a driving force behind the scenes, producing, managing, shaping the business side of the family's legacy, especially through the demanding Victory Tour era. The king of pop. And then there's the one who turned music into magic, Michael Joseph Jackson. Born August 1958, Michael was the Jackson 5's brightest star from the start, the lead voice that carried I Want You Back into music history and never really left it. After the group's Motown years, he moonwalked his way into becoming the king of pop, gifting the world Thriller, Bad, and Dangerous, albums that didn't just sell records, they redefined what a pop star could be. But behind the glittering glove and the platinum records was a man quietly worn down by decades of fame, scrutiny, and controversy. His final years were shadowed by lawsuits and financial strain, even as he prepared for what he hoped would be his greatest comeback. This is it. He never got to take that stage. On June 25, 2009, Michael died in Los Angeles at just 50 years old from acute intoxication caused by propofol and benzodiazepine, which led to cardiac arrest. The news broke the world's heart in real time. He was laid to rest in a heavily guarded private section of the Great Mausoleum at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California, and to this day, it remains one of the most visited resting places of any artist in history. Fans still make the pilgrimage, leaving flowers, letters, and sequined gloves for the boy from Gary who became the king of pop. The brother we lost too soon. Tito Jackson, born October 1953, was the guitarist, the quiet architect of the Jackson 5 sound. He rarely stood in the spotlight the way Michael did, but without his musicianship, there is no Jackson 5 sound to speak of. On September 15, 2024, Tito died suddenly at age 70 from an apparent heart attack while driving from New Mexico to Oklahoma. He's buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in the Hollywood Hills, resting beside his beloved former wife, Dolores D.D. Martez Jackson. His headstone still awaiting its final inscription, a quiet, unfinished tribute to a man who spent his whole life finishing other people's harmonies. After Motown, Tito carved out his own path with a blues-rooted solo career, and he never stopped returning to the stage with his brothers for reunion tours. He was beloved for his humility, his devotion to the blues, and his unwavering commitment to keeping the Jackson family and its legacy together. His passing wasn't just the loss of a musician. It was the loss of a cornerstone, the man who built the dynasty. Joseph Jackson, born July 1928, never sang a note on those Motown records, but without him, none of it happens. He was the architect, a strict, at times deeply controversial father, relentless dreamer who saw something extraordinary in his sons and drove them, without mercy, toward it. Joe passed away on June 27, 2018, at age 89, from pancreatic cancer in Las Vegas. The Jackson family story has never been simple. The same discipline that built a dynasty left real scars, but there's no separating Joe Jackson from what the Jackson Five became. He's buried at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, not far from Michael, and now Tito, a family reunited, at last, in the same quiet ground. And if this story moved you, hit that like button for more of the legends who shaped music history.